Today we are used to drivers collecting trophies and championships like taking apples from a tree. But not so long ago in history, Fangio was the real king, with 5 championships in 4 different cars. With motor racing now being an activity with more than 100 years, the first big names in racing history are now fading fast and, for modern fans, are simply totally unknowns. Today I am talking about Felice Nazzaro, an Italian driver that was the first ever star driver. At a certain point in time, he was winning all the main races in an era when there were no championships as we know today. If there were, we would most probably be talking about the first champion in racing history. Hello and welcome to this video. This is Amazing Racing Stories, Episode 10, the first ever star driver. Few of the first generation of racing drivers had such a long career as Felice Nazzaro. Considered the best Italian driver of his generation, he raced for over 20 years in a wide range of cars. He started as an apprentice at Fiat and quickly became one of their most valued drivers. He had an ability to get on with even the most difficult customers, which led to him becoming Vincenzo Florio's chauffeur, and in that capacity he went on driving in races. In 1901, he took part in one of the first motor racing events in his country, the Piombino Grosseto, which he won. He also took part in the first motor racing Giro d'Italia, which he won with an 8 horsepower model. In the following years, Nazzaro participated in the various races that Fiat held internationally, such as the Gordon Bennett Cup, alongside Vincenzo Lancia and Alessandro Cagno, with honorable places in the 1905 edition, where he finished in second place, behind the Frenchman Léon Thierry. Nazzaro won all 3 major events in 1907, the Targa Florio, the French Grand Prix and the Kaiser Prize, all driving Fiats. At that time, thanks to the victories he achieved that year, he was considered the best driver in the world. As a driver, Nazzaro was an artist, not a fighter. He was a master at keeping his cars in one piece. This enabled him to put pressure on his rivals just as they were beginning to have to start preserving theirs. The following year he won the Coppa Florio and took part in an attempt to break the speed record, becoming the first Italian driver to reach 200 km per hour. His European wins in 1907 also resulted in an invitation to compete in the 1908 American Grand Prix in Savannah, Georgia, where he finished third. It was his victory in the 1908 Circuito di Bologna that inspired the young Enzo Ferrari to become a racing driver. He returned to the United States for the 1910 event, but a damaged rear axle forced him out of the race. Like many other successful drivers of the period, Nazzaro also wanted to try his hands at producing cars, and in 1911, together with his brother-in-law Pilar de Mazzoero, engineer Arnaldo Zoller, and some other colleagues, he founded Nazzaro Company, Fabbrica di Automobili in Turin. Initially, his name was enough to ensure sales of the first model, the Tipo 2, which emerged in 1912. In addition to building and testing his machines, he also raced them, winning the Targa Florio again in 1913 with a Nazzaro. I truly admire this amazing feat, to win a tough race driving a car with his name on the logo, something that Brabham and McLaren did some decades later, but in the F1 Championship, with Brabham even achieving the best top possible result, to be F1 champion with a car registered with his name. A couple of years later, an improved model, the Tipo 3, was released, which also had some success in motorsport. When World War I started, Nazzaro switched to making trucks for the war effort. These were powered by Anzani 10-cylinder engines. The organization, however, was weak, and even the business from the government was not enough to prevent the company going into liquidation in 1916, having produced around 230 cars and a few trucks. He returned to Fiat. There, he continued to test and work on the company's cars, especially after the First World War, when he was joined by his nephew Biagio Nazzaro. In 1922, at the age of 41, he took part in the French Grand Prix with the 804 model, alongside Biagio Nazzaro and Pietro Bordino. That year, the race was held in Strasbourg, on a 14-kilometer triangular circuit, and the Fiats were the big favorites to win. But they had a fatal defect. Their rear axle was too fragile, and two of the three cars ended up broken, with Pietro Bordino and Biagio Nazzaro crashing on the last lap. Biagio Nazzaro's car had the worst luck, as it broke down on the straight at over 160 km per hour, and he died instantly. His uncle won the race and returned to Italy as a national hero, but in mourning for his nephew. When his car was later examined, it was found that it also had a cracked axle, but that it had been saved for less aggressive driving. Later that same year, he and Vincenzo Lancia were given the honor of turning the first sods to start off construction of the brand new Monza truck. In 1924, Felice broke the land speed record in a Fiat, fitted with a 21.7-liter aeroplane engine with a speed of 145.9 miles per hour. Shortly afterwards, in 1925, Felice Nazzaro decided to end his long career in motor racing. Nazzaro continued to work for Fiat until his death on the 21st of March 1940 in Turin. He was 58 years old. And this is it. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe for more videos like this, and drop a line in the comments section if you have something to say or ask. I see you in the next video. Take care.